The moment humanity got mad, the galaxy realized its mistake. The year was 2157. For 30 years, humans had sat at the edge of the Galactic Confederation's Grand Council chambers. For 30 years, they had been ignored. The older races, the tall blue-skinned Ardani, the insect-like Vexil, and the gaseous Marathi, treated humans like children. They patted Earth's people on the head and smiled at their cute ideas. Ambassador Park Ji-woo stood at the window of the Earth Embassy on Centauri Prime. His gray hair caught the light of the alien sun as he read the message again. The Council had given the Ardani rights to mine the Proxima system, a routine matter, they called it. Park's hand tightened on his tablet. Those planets held the rare minerals humans needed for their Mars and Venus projects. Without them, millions of settlers would suffer through harsh winters and toxic summers for many years. The Council knew this, yet they had not even asked Earth's opinion. "They've done it again," Park said to his assistant, Choi Minji. She nodded, her face grim. "This is the third time this year," she replied. "First the trade routes, then the colony. Permits, now this." In his 30 years of service, Park had always pushed for peace. He believed in working together, in showing the galaxy that humans could be valuable friends. But each year, the aliens took more and took more, while giving nothing back. Far away on the Ardani homeworld, Dr. Song Hyun-woo was having a strange day. As the only human allowed to study Ardani history, he had special access to their archives. He had been searching for information about early human Ardani meetings when his computer showed him something odd, a file that should not exist. Security level mismatch, the screen read before showing what looked like secret plans. Song read quickly, his heart beating faster with each line. The Ardani had been planning to keep humans weak all along. They feared what would happen if Earth's people grew too strong. The file mentioned other young races too. The tree-like Balori, the water-dwelling Nyx, all kept small, all kept dependent on the older race's technology and protection. But why? Song whispered to himself. Why pretend to welcome us if they meant to trap us? The answer came on the next page. Fear. The older races had studied human history and found it bloody and violent. They watched human entertainment, war movies, action stories, and thought, these showed humanity's true nature. What they missed was context. They missed that humans fought hardest when protecting others, that they valued freedom above almost everything. Song copied the files to his personal device, hands shaking. He needed to get this information to Earth, but how? The Ardani monitored all communications. Back on Earth, General Yoon Soon-hee reviewed the latest defense projections in her underground office. Unlike the diplomatic corps, the military had never fully trusted the aliens. They had built ships and weapons in secret, hiding their true capabilities. The Ardani fleet movements make no sense, her aide said, pointing to a star map. They claim it's a training exercise, but they're positioning forces near our supply lines. Yoon's dark eyes narrowed. And the Vexil ambassador requested tours of our outer defense stations yesterday. Do you think they're planning something, General? Yoon didn't answer immediately. After 20 years in space defense, she had learned to trust her instincts. Something was coming. The question was what to do about it. That evening, as Park prepared his official protest about the mining rights, a protest he knew would be ignored, his secure line beeped. It was a call from Song, routed through 17 different relays, to hide its origin. Ambassador, I found something you need to see, Song said, his voice tense with fear and excitement. They've been lying to us from the beginning. As Park viewed the files, his diplomatic mask cracked for the first time in decades. Anger flashed across his usually calm face. Thank you, Doctor. Get yourself to the Earth Trade Office as soon as possible. I'll arrange transport home for you. This changes everything. 3 days later, representatives from Earth's government, military, and intelligence services met in a room deep beneath the old United Nations building in New York. The evidence was clear. The Confederation had never intended to treat humans as equals. We've been patient, Park told them. We've been respectful, and they've used our good faith against us. General Yoon spoke next. We have options. We are stronger than they know. The debate lasted hours. Some still wanted peace at almost any cost. Others demanded immediate action. In the end, they agreed on a middle path. Prepare for the worst while making one final attempt at diplomacy. As the meeting ended, Park looked around at the determined faces. For 30 years, we've tried to be good galactic citizens, he said, quietly. Now it's time to show them what happens when humanity gets mad. None of them knew that within days their decision would be made for them, by alien actions that would push humanity past its breaking point. The quiet research outpost on Proxima b had been home to 23 human scientists for nearly 5 years. They studied the planet's unusual magnetic fields and the strange, almost living crystals that formed in its deep valleys. Dr. Kang Jinwoo loved his work there. The isolation didn't bother him or his team. They were making discoveries that could change energy production across human space. When the Vexel ships appeared in orbit without warning, no one was alarmed at first. The insect-like aliens often visited human outposts for trade or diplomatic reasons. They're requesting an immediate meeting, said Dr. Nam Yunju, the communications specialist. Something about an urgent council directive. Kang welcomed the Vexel delegation into the outpost's small meeting room. The aliens' clicking mandibles and fluttering wing cases made some humans nervous, but Kang had worked with them before. This facility must be evacuated within 3 standard days, announced the lead Vexel, whose name translated roughly to Bright Wing. The Council has designated this area a cultural preservation zone of great significance to the Vexel people. Kang blinked in surprise. This is the first we've heard of any cultural importance. Our surveys showed no signs of past settlements. The significance was recently discovered in ancient texts, Brightwing replied, antennae twitching in what Kang recognized as discomfort or deception. The Council's decision is final. 3 days was not enough time to safely pack their sensitive equipment, back up 5 years of research data, and arrange transport. Kang requested an extension but was firmly denied. As the humans scrambled to comply, strange things began to happen. The outpost's long-range communications went down. Power fluctuations damaged some of their backup systems. The evacuation transport the Vexel promised arrived late and was too small for all their equipment. Take only what you can carry, the Vexel supervisor ordered. The rest must remain. Dr. Park Min-soo, the team's oldest member, argued passionately. These are irreplaceable specimens, years of work. The standoff grew tense. In the rush that followed, safety protocols were ignored. When the outpost's main power core became unstable during disconnection, the evacuation turned chaotic. 17 humans died when the secondary lab collapsed. The survivors watched from the small transport as flames consumed their home of 5 years. 2 weeks later, Captain Lee Jian of the Earth Defense Force vessel Resilience approached Proxima b with orders to escort the 6 survivors home and investigate the incident. The Vexel had reported it as a tragic accident caused by human error. As the Resilience entered orbit, Lee noticed unusual energy signatures from the planet's surface, right where the outpost had been. Those readings match mining operations, her science officer said, looking confused. Heavy industrial equipment. Against Confederation protocols but following her instincts, Lee took a small team to the surface. What they found made her blood run cold. Where the human research outpost had stood, Vexil mining machines were cutting deep into the planet. There was no sign of any cultural preservation work, only efficient, well-planned resource extraction. They lied, whispered Dr. Nam, who had insisted on joining the landing party. They wanted our research site because we found something valuable. Lee took extensive scans and recordings. When they returned to the Resilience, she immediately attempted to transmit the evidence to Earth Command. Channel blocked, reported her communications officer. We're being jammed. A Vexel enforcement vessel appeared on their sensors, broadcasting on all frequencies. Earth Vessel Resilience, you have violated a protected cultural zone. Power down your systems and prepare for inspection. Lee's hands tightened on her captain's chair. She had served in the Earth Defense Force for 15 years and had always followed the rules of the Confederation. But what she had seen below was wrong. The deaths of 17 humans had been for nothing but alien greed. "Prepare for emergency jump," she ordered. "We're taking this evidence home." The Resilience barely escaped the Vexil ship's attempts to disable it. As they fled the system, Lee managed to send a compressed data packet through a secure channel before the Confederation systems cut them off completely. On Earth, Admiral Han Do-yun received the partial transmission. The images were clear enough. Vexil mining operations where a cultural preservation zone was supposed to be. 17 humans dead for a lie. Han closed his eyes briefly, thinking of all the small compromises Earth had made for the sake of galactic peace. All the times they had accepted at the Council's decisions even when they seemed unfair. "Sir?" His aide waited for orders. Han opened his eyes. "Begin Operation Silent Recall. Bring our ships home." Across Confederation space, human vessels received coded orders to disengage. From joint patrols to make excuses and return to Earth space immediately. It was done quietly with minimal explanation. The Confederation Council noticed, of course. Their demand for explanation was swift and condescending. "Earth must immediately cease all unauthorized fleet movements," the message read. "This behavior raises security concerns among member species." Han didn't bother to respond. For the first time in 30 years of Confederation membership, humanity was done explaining itself. What the aliens failed to understand, what they had never bothered to learn from human history, was this simple truth. Humans could be patient. Humans could be kind. But when pushed too far, when their own were killed through lies and greed, humans became something else entirely. The storm was coming. The colony ship. Hope's Promise glided through space, carrying 2,000 settlers, bound for the new human colony on Tau Ceti. Families had sold everything they owned on Earth to start fresh on a world with clean air and open land. Children pressed their faces against viewing ports, watching stars streak by as their parents dreamed of the farms they would build. In the ship's common area, Lee Min-ho watched his 5-year-old daughter draw pictures of the animals she hoped to raise on their new home. His wife, Shin Ara, sat nearby, reading stories to a group of children. After years of saving, they had finally bought passage to the colony, a chance for a better life away from Earth's crowded cities. "Approaching Sector 12, announced the ship's calm voice. "Standard transit time, 3 hours. Sector 12 was known to be safe, a well-traveled route where Confederation patrols kept order. The Hope's Promise was right on schedule. No one noticed the Marathi battle group until it was too late. The Marathi were the oldest of the Confederation races. Their bodies were semi-gaseous, kept in special containment suits when among solid species. Their ships were among the most powerful in known space. And now, 3 of those ships surrounded the Hope's Promise, weapons active. "Unidentified vessel, power down and prepare for boarding," came the Marathi command. Captain Beijiwan frowned at the message. Their ship's transponder was working perfectly, broadcasting its human registry and civilian status. There was no reason for the Marathi to pretend they didn't know who they were. "Marathi vessels, this is the Earth colony ship Hope's Promise. We are on a scheduled route to Tau Ceti with civilian passengers. Please explain your orders." The response came quickly. "Power down immediately or face consequences." Captain Bay tried 3 more times to identify his ship. He sent official clearance codes. He requested to speak with the Marathi commander directly. From the Marathi flagship, Admiral Gaseous Voice watched the human ship with contempt. These creatures had been causing problems lately, questioning council decisions, withdrawing their ships from joint patrols. Perhaps a small lesson was needed. "Final warning," he transmitted. On the Hope's Promise, Captain Bay made a desperate decision. He diverted power to the engines, hoping to outrun the military vessels long enough to reach the emergency jump point. It was their only chance. The AE. Marathi ships fired without hesitation. Their weapons tore through the colony ship's minimal shields, ripping open its hull. Emergency systems failed as atmosphere vented into space. In the common area, Lee Min-ho grabbed his daughter and wife, pulling them toward the escape pods. Around them, families screamed and ran. The ship lurched violently. The Hope's promise broke, apart under the continued assault. Of the 40 escape pods, only 3 managed to launch before the ship exploded. 2,000 human lives ended in a flash of light that quickly faded against the darkness of space. Hours later, the Marathi admiral filed his report. Suspected smuggler vessel destroyed after failing to comply with inspection orders. When news of the destruction reached Earth, the response was not what the aliens expected. There were no angry protests, no diplomatic outrage, no demands for justice. Instead, a strange silence fell across human space. In the UN headquarters in Mainditios, Geneva, President Kwon Ji-hye sat alone in her office, staring at the casualty list from the Hope's promise. 2,000 names, families, children, people who had done nothing wrong except believe in a better future. For 30 years, she and her predecessors had guided humanity through the challenges of joining the galactic community. They had accepted second-class status. They had swallowed their pride when the Council ignored their concerns. They had believed that patience would eventually earn them respect. She picked up her secure phone. "Implement Protocol Thermopylae," she said quietly. "Authorization Quan Alpha 79. Around the world, military commanders received the order with grim faces. They had trained for this day while hoping it would never come. In the Confederation, Council chambers, the Ardani representative noticed something unusual. The human delegates sat silently in their seats, their faces blank. When asked for Earth's response to the unfortunate incident, Ambassador Park simply replied, "Earth has no comment at this time." The Vexil delegates' antennae twitched nervously. "Perhaps they finally understand their place," the Ardani representative whispered, but without much conviction. That night, in homes and offices across Earth and its colonies, humans received the same message on their personal devices. "Stand ready, remember Tokyo, 72 hours, no explanation was needed." Every human knew what "Remember Tokyo" meant. It was the code phrase for the contingency they had hoped would never be necessary. On military bases, hidden weapons were brought out of storage. In civilian ships, secret compartments were opened. In homes, emergency plans were reviewed. All done in perfect silence with no electronic communications that alien systems might detect. The aliens had never truly understood humans. They had studied human wars but missed the deeper truth. Humans fought hardest not for conquest but when defending their own. They had watched human fictional entertainment, but failed to see that humans told these violent stories precisely to avoid repeating them in reality. Most of all, the aliens had never learned the most important lesson from Earth's history. When humans go quiet, when the shouting stops and the complaints end, that is not surrender. That is preparation. In the Xutter, sprawling metropolis of New Eden, humanity stood on the brink of its most extraordinary transformation. Dr. Elena Rodriguez worked tirelessly in her underground laboratory, her fingers dancing across holographic screens that displayed complex genetic sequences. She had discovered something revolutionary, a way to unlock human potential beyond anything previously imagined. The breakthrough came from an unexpected combination of nanotechnology and genetic engineering. Elena's research had isolated specific gene clusters that could dramatically enhance human capabilities. Strength, intelligence, healing abilities, and sensory perception could now be modified with unprecedented precision. Marcus Chen, her lead assistant, watched in awe as preliminary test results confirmed their hypothesis. The first human trials would change everything. Volunteers from around the world had been carefully selected, individuals with diverse backgrounds who represented humanity's potential. The initial subject was Sarah Williams, a 28-year-old former Paralympic athlete who had lost mobility in her lower body. During the procedure, microscopic nanobots rewrote her genetic code, reconnecting neural pathways and repairing damaged tissues. Within hours, Sarah could not only walk, but demonstrated superhuman physical capabilities that defied medical understanding. News of the breakthrough spread quickly, though Elena insisted on maintaining strict scientific protocols. Governments, research institutions, and private corporations all wanted a piece of her discovery. But Elena was determined to ensure the technology would benefit humanity as a whole, not just those with wealth and power. The genetic modifications weren't just physical. Enhanced cognitive abilities emerged in test subjects. They could process information faster, learn languages within days, and solve complex mathematical problems with remarkable ease. It was as if human potential was being unleashed from centuries of biological limitations. However, not everyone saw this as a positive development. Ethical debates erupted worldwide. Religious leaders questioned the morality of manipulating human genetic structure. Philosophers argued about the nature of humanity and whether these enhanced individuals were still fundamentally human. Marcus understood the complexity of their work. Each modification carried potential risks and unknown long-term consequences. They needed to be cautious, methodical, and transparent about every single development. Governments began drafting new legislation to regulate genetic enhancement. Some countries completely banned the technology, while others embraced it as the next step in human evolution. International conferences were held, with scientists, ethicists, and policymakers discussing the profound implications of their discovery. The first generation of genetically enhanced humans started integrating into society. They worked in fields ranging from medical research to space exploration, solving problems that had seemed insurmountable just years before. Their abilities were not just incremental improvements, but quantum leaps in human capability. Elena knew they were witnessing a pivotal moment in human history. The technology they had developed could eliminate genetic diseases, extend human lifespans, and potentially solve global challenges like climate change and resource scarcity. But with great power came immense responsibility. Unexpected side effects began to emerge. Some enhanced individuals developed heightened empathy, creating deeper connections with others. Some displayed extraordinary creativity, generating solutions to complex global problems. The human experience was being redefined, not through violent revolution, but through careful scientific progression. As months passed, the world watched and waited. Humanity stood at a crossroads, with the potential to either elevate itself to unprecedented heights or potentially create new forms of inequality. The genetic enhancement technology represented both hope and uncertainty. Dr. Rodriguez continued her research, knowing that each breakthrough brought humanity closer to understanding its true potential. The journey had just begun, and the possibilities seemed infinite. In laboratories, classrooms, hospitals, and research centers around the globe, a new chapter of human existence was being written, not through conflict or competition, but through collaborative scientific exploration that pushed the boundaries of what it meant to be human. The world would never be the same again. In the vast darkness of space, humanity's first interstellar mission was about to face its greatest challenge. The Starship Horizon carried 200 of the most advanced, genetically enhanced humans ever created. Their mission: to explore the unknown regions beyond the solar system and make first contact with potential alien civilizations. Captain Alexandra Rivera stood on the bridge, her enhanced senses scanning the complex holographic displays. Something was different about this sector of space. Strange energy signatures pulsed through the darkness, unlike anything their advanced sensors had ever recorded. Suddenly, a massive gravitational disturbance ripped through space around them. The ship's advanced warning system screamed with alerts. Something huge was approaching, something that didn't follow any known laws of physics. Dr. Michael Chen, the mission's lead scientist, analyzed the incoming data with superhuman speed. The approaching object was massive, larger than entire planetary systems. It moved with an intelligence that suggested more than just natural phenomena. This was something deliberate, something alive. Communication systems crackled. Strange mathematical patterns began transmitting across all frequencies. The enhanced humans on board started experiencing simultaneous visions, glimpses of civilizations far older than human history, technologies beyond comprehension, and cosmic conflicts that spanned millions of years. Alexandra realized they weren't just explorers. They had become witnesses to something monumentally significant. The galaxy was communicating, and humanity was finally advanced enough to understand a fraction of its message. The alien presence surrounding the horizon wasn't hostile. It was curious, scanning, evaluating. Humanity represented something new in the cosmic ecosystem, a species that had rapidly evolved, breaking through its biological limitations. Genetic enhancements that seemed revolutionary on Earth now appeared almost primitive compared to the intelligence surrounding them. The cosmic entity was studying them, measuring their potential, understanding their rapid transformation. Michael discovered that the energy patterns contained complex information, not just communication, but entire libraries of knowledge. Civilizations that had risen and fallen across millions of light years were compressed into mathematical sequences that their enhanced brains could partially decode. Crew members experienced shared consciousness moments. They saw glimpses of distant worlds, technological marvels beyond imagination, and cosmic conflicts that made human wars seem like children's playground disputes. The universe was alive, interconnected, and far more complex than anyone had ever imagined. The ship's systems began transforming. Advanced nanotechnology responded to the cosmic signals, upgrading systems in real time. The horizon was no longer just a human construct. It was becoming a living interface between humanity and something much larger. Alexandra understood they were at a turning point. This wasn't just a mission of exploration. They were representatives of an emerging species, making first meaningful contact with a galactic intelligence that had been watching and waiting. Genetic memories surfaced among the crew. Historical experiences from their enhanced DNA became vivid, showing evolutionary paths, survival strategies, and collective knowledge accumulated over generations. They were more than individual humans now. They were a collective consciousness representing humanity's potential. The cosmic entity seemed to be testing them, presenting challenges, observing responses, measuring their adaptability. Every interaction was a complex negotiation between two forms of intelligence, biological and cosmic. Michael realized they were being evaluated for something larger, not just exploration, but potential inclusion in a cosmic network of intelligent species. Humanity's rapid genetic advancement had caught the galaxy's attention. Days passed like moments, weeks compressed into seconds. The horizon became a bridge between known and unknown realities. Enhanced humans transformed from explorers to interpreters, from scientists to cosmic diplomats. As communication stabilized, a profound understanding emerged. The galaxy wasn't empty. It was a living, breathing ecosystem of intelligence, waiting for species capable of understanding its complexity. Humanity had finally grown up, no longer confined to a single planet, limited by biological constraints. They were now cosmic participants, ready to engage with a universe far more mysterious and wonderful than anyone had ever dreamed. The horizon continued its journey, carrying with it the hopes, fears, and limitless potential of an entire species, preparing to take its first real steps into the infinite unknown.